So we also, there's Jeff Lowe. We also, we really didn't talk about Carol Baskin, and she is kind of, again, she's another one that's like, that she's portrayed in the series, I think, as more of like a good guy, quote unquote, because she's fighting for animal rights. But really, a lot of what she does is kind of like gross and like very exploitative too, under the guise of being like an animal rights activist. And I think a lot of her like mentality of trying to like push for legislation on tigers and stuff and keeping exotic animals is more just to put her competition out of business than anything.
Oh, I think so too, and also so that she would end up getting custody of these animals. I think
Right.
her whole thing is
Exactly.
I think her whole thing is she just like, I think because of her because of her past and everything, I think she has. I think there's probably something in her childhood that like has attached her to cats or tigers, where like she only felt safe around them. So I think that's kind of where this stems from,
Yes.
because she had a lot of trouble for much of her life.
Yeah.
And I don't think it just has to do with her competition, but I think it's also like just growing her menagerie as far as like, from like just a psychological
Oh yeah.
fracture.
Well, because then she can go in and say, "Oh, well, we have to rescue these cats from this zoo because they can't live in the wild on their own. So we'll just take them and put them in our zoo instead."
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
meanwhile,
okay,
her zoo like is not up to code or anything like that. There's like
right?
bramble everywhere. It's
Yeah.
and the cages are small.
Well, she claims that it's supposed to look more like their natural habitat.
Yeah, but it totally doesn't. That's like that.
Right.
That's all bullshit.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I think absolutely.
And also, all of her volunteers are just that. They're volunteers. They're talking about all these
Right?
people
She doesn't pay
who
Yes.
lost
anybody.
their lives for this, and
Hmm.
they don't even get expired Walmart meat and a trailer.
Yeah. Um,
She's a predator,
Oh
just like
yeah,
the rest of them. And like
absolutely.
you guys were
yeah.
just saying, she's got what she wants, and she's going after it through a different way. I mean, she even keeps her husband on a leash. Like that's
Yeah.
their wedding.
Yeah.
So he's one of those
I always thought
people.
the creepiest thing with her was when they did the interviews with her and her husband for the documentary, whenever he's talking, she's looking at him. Like
Yes.
if you notice, and it's like she's almost like coached him what to say and is like boring into his mind and mind controlling him almost. It looks like,
Yeah,
you
like
know.
she's like a ventriloquist.
Yeah, you could tell that she definitely controls him completely.
Oh yeah.
And she's
Keeps him on a leash
reminding him.
literally and metaphorically.
Just remind him what happened to the last one.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly. Yeah, you could up and disappear.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just the fact that this exists is just like mind blowing because it's like you would never think that people like this. I mean, I guess there's douchebags in the world and people that are assholes and
I mean,
stuff.
there's
But
a
it's
lot
like
there's a lot of sick people, but you didn't like this is not something I would expect.
no, it's like completely out there. And there's always a joke that like you say like people that own horses are usually crazy. Like horse people are just crazy. Well, tiger people are like it's completely and out of their minds, like insane. Like it's just it's mind blowing that these people exist. Like it really is because they're just so bizarre. Even the ones that are portrayed as the most normal, like Carol Baskin, is not normal at all. She's so weird and like creepy and skeezy and like a shifty grifter. Like and it's just so bizarre. And the cast of characters that weren't even like own it, like the guy on the jet ski. Like,
Yeah.
where did they find these people?
Yeah, that guy sold everybody out too.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's been around. He was on Talk is Jericho, and he was on
What?
an episode of AEW.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? There's a while ago I wouldn't have believed or understood why Jericho would put him on the show, but after like seeing Jericho decline in 2020, I can kind of see it now.
It was right at the height of this.
Oh God,
Wow.
yeah. I mean,
About a year
I could
ago.
see him. I could see like the crew being on the show, but not that. But not like any of the cast.
That guy, I'm telling you, that he's pretty smart. Like he kind of parlayed his appearance on Tiger King into like a whole thing. I guess then
Oh yeah,
like
he's probably making a lot of money off of this.
yeah, and he's just like this little friggin' side character that had one friggin' scene of him like driving away on a jet ski that somehow made it like him like he's like the one of the biggest memes of the show. Just
Yeah.
like that image of him on the jet ski. Like.
It's just funny.
Yeah. So there's talks that they've been kind of talking about a second season of Tiger King since the show aired, basically, and I keep hearing rumors that it's coming out and it's going to focus on Doc Antle and basically how he got brought down now and is being charged with similar crimes to Joe. Not the murder for hire thing, but the violation of the Exotic Species or Endangered Species Act and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if that actually does come to fruition, and we get to see what happens to Joe and Jeff Lowe and all the other people as they all get brought down one by one, and Joe's friggin' trying to like appeal to Trump to get out of jail and stuff. So I would hope that would be in it too.
I would hope so too. I was gonna mention that, like, from jail, he was trying to appeal to Trump for like a pardon, and like he had to like his campaign people like waiting outside the prison, expecting that like this would happen.
He had a limo and a hairdresser lined up for him when he got out of prison. He was so sure that Trump was going to pardon him.
I don't see why you would think that, but his ego was massive from this thing. But you would think even in prison that like his ego would end up diminishing and he'd be humbled, but this clearly was not the case, because every second that he got, he like tweeted a bunch of crazy shit.
I mean, it's pretty clear that he goes beyond just having a big ego. He's clearly like a narcissist.
Yeah.
That like just he thinks that he's the best thing ever, and so like I could see why he thought he was going to get pardoned, because he thinks he's the most important person in the world.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
interesting that his husband, who he had married right before going to jail, has now divorced him.
Also, right after his husband killed himself.
Yeah, I think 2 months later or 3 months later.
Yeah, 2 months later.
Yeah, that's a kind of
that's a big red flag. Well, also, this guy was the only husband that actually was gay, it seemed.
Yeah,
I think. Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the only husband that actually was gay.
Yes, because Travis and the other one,
John, they were both there for the drugs.
Yes, exactly. Which
I saw also today that Dylan, they're not getting divorced. As of yesterday, they were getting divorced, and as of today, they announced they're going to stick together. But I don't think that's going to last very long.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
Time now.
Yeah, I mean, the age difference is just so vast. Like,
the age difference is vast. Like, also, the fact that Joe is going to be most likely in prison for the next, 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
Double his life almost. He's going to have to live an entire lifetime, essentially.
Yes.
Married to a man in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the pandemic right now, they haven't even been able to visit each other, because Joe's been, he's high risk, I believe. I was seeing he's been kept, quarantined and separate. A lot of the things he's had to write to the judge have been handwritten on paper, because he can't be in communal settings. So I'm sure it's been very rough for him.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if he didn't crack before, he's definitely cracked now.
Well, I mean, I haven't heard any, like, I know, he obviously was calling from jail for the interviews for the documentary, but I don't know if he's done any since the documentary. I haven't heard of any. So I don't know how, he's faring. I'm sure he has.
Heard that they're going to have some interviews for the second season, that we're going to get more of the wackiness that is Joe Exotic behind bars.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
It would be amazing if they were able to get a camera in jail and see his day-to-day life in jail, because it's probably, like, just ridiculous,
a sitcom in and of itself.
Oh, good God. I mean, there's a lot that they could touch on the second season. But I mean, this thing was just perfect timing, this show, for it to come out. Like, I honestly think that if it just came out during like a normal year, that maybe it would have eventually gotten some traction, but I don't think it would have been at the height that this has reached. I don't think this would be like getting like super like national attention.
No, I mean, the pandemic, the fact that this came out, and I think that was planned. I'm sure they saw it's like, oh crap, like everyone's gonna be locked down and has to stay home for the next 2 weeks. Let's put it out, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
And they would just, they got really lucky with it, and it blew up.
Yeah, well, this actually released on my birthday last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everything.
Birthday.
Well, yeah.
Happy birthday! Here's some Joe Exotic.
Yeah.
Meth and Tigers.
Yeah, Meth and Tigers.
You just hire Joe Exotic to come to your birthday party.
Good God, no.
He brings Meth and Tigers with him.
I don't want to ever try Meth and Tigers.
I'm allergic to cats. That would not work with me at all.
My apartment's just not big enough to handle a tiger.
Yeah, remember a few years ago, there was someone in like
Brooklyn or the Bronx. Yeah,
that had tigers in their apartment.
I mean, that happens every couple of years. You find out about somebody who's like got a tiger in their apartment. This
or like
isn't
a
really
monkey,
new.
a chimpanzee, or something crazy.
Yeah, this isn't really anything new here. Like every couple of years, you find out about something. Like, I know when I was a little kid, there was a guy who like lived in the neighborhood that had like a 30-foot boa constrictor that he would just walk around with.
Oh my God!
I don't know. He was the snake guy.
That's crazy.
Every once in a while we'd see it, and he'd have the boa constrictor, and and so some people would let him put the snake around their neck, and that was about it.
That's playing a little bit too much with fast and loose with a fucking deadly animal for me.
People listen, man. People are crazy. People do this stuff. I remember like maybe 10 years ago, there was like some guy in Queens who like got his apartment raided, and he had like a fully grown white tiger just on the couch, and he was like, like the guy was living in the projects or something.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
It was like, how do you fit that into your apartment in the projects of all places?
How do you feed that thing?
Who do you feed that thing?
Yeah. What does it shit everywhere? Like, does it go in a litter box? How does it work? Like,
how do you have the money to maintain that thing?
Yeah.
Well, I found an article here. There was one in Harlem. The tiger's name was Ming. It says in 2001, this 31-year-old construction worker brought an 8-week-old cub to his Harlem housing project.
Oh, good God.
Then it started consuming 20 pounds of chicken thighs a day.
Well, yeah.
And was soon a 425-pound tiger.
Oh, my God.
Well,
and the
there
picture
you go.
at the top here is NYPD officer rappelling down the side of a building with a tranq gun as the tiger lunges at the window.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at that exact picture.
Jeez.
Imagine being that cop. Like, you come into work that day not hoping you're going to have a good day, a nice quiet day, and you have to literally rappel down the side of a building with a tranquilizer gun to try to tranquilize a tiger through a window. Like, it's like that scene at the end of The Naked Gun, like in real life, when like the animals escape from the zoo and they like maul Robert Goulet. I don't think I've ever actually seen The Naked Gun.
Oh, are you freaking kidding me? Those are the greatest.
I know.
The third one's probably like the worst one of the three, but it's still hilarious.
I mean, I think I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the whole movie straight through.
It's so funny.
It was probably when I was like 8 or something. I was like young when I saw them.
Yeah, there's something like, I mean, to this day, like every once in a while, I'll just I'll just point at something, and I'll like, if somebody's not sure of who somebody is, I'll nudge the person next to me. I'll just say, it's Enrico Palazzo. Whether or not they know who I'm talking about, I don't care. But that movie, those movies are like, they're kind of surreal because O.J. Simpson is there.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, O.J. Simpson was a famous actor before.
Oh no, I know. He was like he was a champion. He was like a big football player and everything.
Yeah,
he was
in the Towering Inferno.
Yeah, he was on his way to becoming a national treasure, and then he did what he did what they couldn't convict him of. It's very obvious. Oh yeah, it's very obvious.
Allegedly, he definitely did it. It was just there was too many botches with the investigation, and the defense lawyers were able to latch onto that.
Oh yeah,
Johnny Cochran was pretty much a genius.
Yeah, Jackie Childs.
Yeah.
No, well, I know that. I'm sticking to what the ruling was, but obviously he did this.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, and he lost in the civil suit, so he.
Oh yeah, no. He, like, without a shadow of a doubt, this guy murdered his wife, and like
Yeah.
he put out the book In Prison If I Did It, which was like a hypothetical confession where like he basically just like said sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
But of course, it had to be like, it had to be in hypothetical terms, where it had to like toe the line between fantasy and reality. But like it was very obvious as to what it was.
Oh yeah.
And then he went to real jail for like tax evasion or something.
No, it was for robbing a dude. He like broke into a hotel room and
that's right,
and robbed some dude. I'm pretty sure he was armed too. And I find it hilarious that he literally beat a murder rap that would have sent him to prison for life, and only to like have to go to jail anyway for some completely unrelated crime because he was an idiot.
Just so dumb.
He could have literally parlayed his life and like into like just telling us his story, and probably made money off it. But instead, he went to rob some guy of some like merchandise. Like, what a dumbass! Like, I mean, and now he's out. It's crazy. Like, freaking O.J. Simpson is once again a free man, and he has a Twitter account. Like, what reality are we living in?
That'll be Joe Exotic in 20 years. We'll be sitting here like, what's he doing now? And he'll probably go back for something even lamer.
He'll probably try to run for president again.
Well, I mean, he's like almost 60 now, so he'll be at least 75 when he gets out.
Well, right. Well, assuming that he has good behavior and all that, and gets out early. Let me see. I think he's in for 22 years.
Oh wow.
I think was his sentence. Let's see.
Yeah, he ain't getting out alive.
No. Well, he might get out alive.
You never know.
He'll be old.
Out in 10.
Yeah. That's what I said. He'll probably be out good behavior 10 to 15 years. Assuming that he doesn't get pardoned, which apparently now, as of like 2021, he's hired new attorneys who plan to file a motion for a new trial.
Oh, good God.
So, which I can't imagine that any judge would like allow, because I mean, he admitted in court to the crimes that he was accused of.
Yeah.
There's nothing that they could really, kind of get him on a mistrial or anything on. So, I don't know what they plan to do, and if a judge does somehow allow this and he goes back to retrial, like, what is he gonna what's the defense gonna be?
Right.
So, I guess we'll maybe that'll be part of Tiger King Part 2 is Joe's retrial if it ever happens.
It just sounds like a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
I just don't.
It's crazy.
I don't know how this could be a real thing.
It's crazy how many people like Joe Exotic too. Like, he gets fan mail, tons of fan mail in prison, and there's like GoFundMe set up for his legal defense and all this. Like, he gets so much like, and it's like people missed the point of the documentary entirely. It wasn't they weren't trying to like make him this hero. They were showing that he was like a guy that like started out with good intentions and became a total and complete scumbag. I don't understand how people took that as like, Joe, he's a good guy. Let's just, help him.
Because we live in a world where too many other idiots inhabit it.
Well, that's true, I guess.
Well, that's what Joe did, is he took advantage of other people, and he is so good at that from so many years of practicing that he is capable of doing it through a TV screen. And now that it reached everybody in the country when we were forced inside with nothing else to do, you're gonna win some more followers over that way. And he won a lot of followers over.
Oh yeah,
and he hasn't even seen the series. He's just basking in the fame.
I wonder what he's gonna think if he ever has a chance to watch the Tiger King series. Like, that would be another thing. Joe's reaction to Tiger King when he gets out of prison. He'll probably do that on his YouTube channel or something.
There's There's this YouTube guy that I watched. His name's Larry Lawton. He was like, he was once the biggest jewel thief in America, and he's since.
Oh yeah, I know that guy. I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's turned his life around very much.
Yeah,
where he has like programs where he tries to, like help rehabilitate prison inmates. He's also like trying to do a lot of campaigning to try to fix the prison system.
Mm-hmm.
To make it focus more on rehabilitation rather than punishment.
Mm-hmm.
And he owns up to what he did. He tells his whole life story. He wrote a book about all the crazy stuff that he did. It's like he lived a pretty wild life, but
he consults police departments too on like robberies, I think, as well.
Yeah, he does. Like now he's like he did like a whole 180 on his life, and he's like dedicated it to trying to help people rather than hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, I would hope that. I don't think Joe Exotic has like he's too egotistical to do something like that.
No, I don't see him doing anything like that. But this Larry Lawton guy, the reason why I bring him up is because he did a thing shortly after this with Tiger King, because he kept getting like requests for it, and he like just did a whole thing of like what's coming to Joe Exotic, and he was like he's like, I know I did some crazy shit, but this is crazy shit.
Yeah. I mean, I could imagine Joe Exotic trying, when he does get out of prison, trying to do something like, like a YouTube show where he tries to like be like a motivational speaker, except like, again, he's so egotistical. He'll probably always like say, oh, well, I never did anything wrong in my life. I was framed, and completely miss the point of being like a motivational speaker and trying to turn your life around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he will make money doing that.
People
will pay just to show up and gab about whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, listen,
it's going to be a little disgusting how successful he's going to be after jail.
Honestly, if I wouldn't be surprised if he's like trying to set up like if like people are requesting that he like gets a cameo.
Yeah.
I could absolutely see people like begging this guy to do cameos for whatever reason. I have no idea.
Like the cameo, like the video service where you like do, or like cameos in movies.
No, like the video service platform.
Yeah.
He could probably charge $9.95 like the Undertaker and still sell out.
I'm sure he would. No, honestly, people will probably buy it because they're freaking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. People
they're crazy
buy stuff
about
from
it.
Listen, people buy stuff from like people buy weird shit all the time.
Yeah.
I've bought weird shit.
He is a walking endorsement. Like he could endorse chicken nuggets with those beautiful golden nuggets. How he described his testicles. Like this man is a walking spokesperson, but he just poisoned that with his past crimes.
Yeah,